Well, according to this treasure hunting app, there is treasure in my backyard from a previous era right here. No. Get rid of that. What? No way! Wow! A Chaos USA rail dust cover and quad rail? No way! Well, the app says that there's more treasure over there. Where at? Right here. Well, it can't be as cool as that. Well, hey guys, welcome back to Tactical Review. So today's video comes kind of courtesy of longtime channel supporter, chat moderator, just good friend of the channel, Warsaw Patriot. Now, Warsaw has been mercilessly picking on me for probably a year now because of the fact that I have an optic up on my dust cover on my AK-47. And as much as I like just kind of aggravating people, I wasn't able to pass up the opportunity when Warsaw contacted me and asked if I would like to purchase his used Chaos USA Titan dust cover and quad rail set. I got looking into them. These seem like they were a very great product, really well engineered. What I saw from AK Operators Union, Rob Ski, seemed to have a pretty positive opinion. However, the trail goes cold because Chaos USA has gone out of business, unfortunately. As a matter of fact, the most recent activity I can find on social media or anything was a Twitter post from September of 2018. So if you find yourself interested in this product as this video goes on, I will just tell you, you need to keep an eye out on the used market. And so that you have an idea of kind of what the original value were, you can still find MSRP and information like that. And it seems as though each piece, the quad rail and the dust cover rail, went for around $150 to $160 each. So I'm not necessarily personally a fan of quad rails in general, so at this point I'm not planning on using the quad rail, but I am interested in the dust cover. So one thing I'm going to go ahead and say in the way of a disclaimer, as with any AK-47 modification, if you don't have a reasonable amount of mechanical inclination, you might want to find yourself a decent local gunsmith and pay them to do your modifications. There's always the chance that you're going to need to, do a little bit of filing and a little bit of fitting, even on something like a Glock or an AR-15. But those are a little bit more standardized than the AK platform. So you might find yourself getting very rapidly in over your head if you're not mechanically inclined. Anyway, disclaimers out of the way. So I'll be talking through a couple of things that you're going to want to watch out for, but there are some pretty fantastic install videos out there in the wild for this product. So first thing, you are going to need a drill bit, and so that might already turn some of you guys off to this. This does require some kind of permanent modification to your rifle. Magazine out. Make sure the weapon's clear. And then here on the left-hand side of the rifle, what you're seeing up on screen is the left-hand side of the factory gas tube lever. You're going to notice a very nice roll outward flare there. You're going to need to drill that off so that you can remove the gas tube lever entirely, because the Chaos USA mounting bracket actually has a crossbar that doubles as a gas tube lever, and it's what secures the whole front end of the assembly in place. Really, it was a pretty ingenious design. So I'm going to grab a drill bit, and potentially ruin my AK-47. I'll be back with you guys in a few minutes. All right, now with the gas tube lever out, what will eventually happen is that your gas tube sits in place and the Chaos dust cover rail will slide into place behind it. Now the problem I'm having is the fact that I've got an optic up here on this Palmetto State factory rail, so we'll take care of that too. Alright, with the optic off of there, the problem is that to get this lever all the way through, it needs to be pointed further forward than what I was able to point it. Because as you can see in the picture that's on screen, there's a flat spot that has to interface with the rivet to lock in on the Titan rail. So, since we have the top rail on there, let's put the internals of the rifle back in place, and we'll start looking at how this interfaces with the dust cover and how it locks down so that it can repeat 0 with any optic that's mounted to it. Okay, so as you can see, I have my top cover back in place, and if we hinge the dust cover rail back down, it actually locks in back here on the end of the recoil spring. And so then there's adjustment here in the center. There's a couple of screws to where you can, if you have a slightly longer receiver or a slightly shorter receiver, you can loosen these up and get the proper distance on your Titan rail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get those loosened up. I'm going to get it set where I'm really happy with it, and then we're going to put some blue Loctite on those threads, because obviously if you want an optic to 0 on this, it needs to be pretty tight. Now, one thing I don't have for this particular interface is proper torque spec. Given the fact that it's aluminum to aluminum, I'm going to go with a kind of universal torque spec of 25 to 30 inch-pounds coming from the AR world. And yeah, hopefully I don't spin this out. We'll see. And I'm using blue thread lock. Warsaw recommended either blue or orange. All right. So that's locked in up here, but there's still a bit of a wiggle. Now, possibly for QCB type red dot engagements, maybe that's not a big deal. And, you know, just for the record, this rail isn't made to support big, heavy optics, all right? You don't need to be putting a 1 to 8, 1 to 10 power on here. This is really for lightweight things like red dots, so on and so forth. I had considered putting my Ronin P10 back on here. The Ronin hasn't been bad to me. I'm not going to say that. But it's not something that I know that I can trust. So I've actually picked up a Vortex Crossfire, and we'll have that on here. But regardless, you don't want that rattle. So the other ingenious thing that was included with the Titan is these standoff screws. Now, again, I bought this used. They wouldn't have come in this. But there are these little nylon tipped screws that will press against your dust cover and give you repeatability when it's locked in place here. Now that said, those are some tiny Allen keys, so I'll need just a minute while I locate a small enough Allen wrench. All right, and when I say small, I mean that's a 2mm Allen key. But when you take that guy down to just snug, it gets rid of all of the wobble there. And because I don't like the thought of screws backing out on me under recoil, I am going to go ahead and put some thread lock on this. However, with as small as the Allen key is, we're going to use purple on these. And still locks in place, but we've gotten rid of all of that rattle. There are also lateral screws, same concept, just to kind of help keep things centered up. Obviously, your recoil spring or takedown button, if you want to call it that, will do a lot of the squaring up on this back end. These screws just help assure that. And they will take some of those lateral forces, if there are any, off of this tang up front that's kind of a thinner spot in the whole system. All right, and there we have the Chaos USA Titan dust cover rail, which is designed to allow you to still have access to your internals for cleaning, etc. I always struggle with that dust cover, but you can still get in here for cleaning and disassembly for all your normal stuff. If you need to take it down any further, simply flip that guy around, pop your lever out. Make sure not to lose this if you're doing any kind of cleaning in the field, and then it'll come off of there. Well, actually, you wouldn't even have to take that off, but then you can remove your gas tube. Really an ingenious design. I'd say it was probably ahead of its time, especially with the current popularity of the AK platform. Unfortunately, much like several products throughout the years, too early can be just as hazardous as too late. Looking at this, it looks as though my Palmetto State Armory factory gas tube rail up here maybe is, actually I'd say is just a little taller than the Chaos USA rail. Again, the included quad rail would be a perfect co-witness. Not something I am super concerned about, and stay tuned to the channel and you'll see why. Again, I want to say a special thank you to Warsaw Patriot. Thanks for hanging on to it for me for a couple of weeks. Really excited about this, and I'm sure you will be excited to see my optic make its way from the gas tube back towards the shooter. Though I kind of want to take a picture with the optic still up on the gas tube just to troll you. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me today. If you like content like this, AK-47s, modifications, just shooting in general, I'd really appreciate if you give the video a thumbs up. Go ahead and head over and click that subscribe button and make sure you ring that notification bell so you see when I do upload new content. That kind of interaction just really helps all of your favorite creators when working with the YouTube algorithm. So just make sure that you're interacting with the video in those ways. Go ahead and leave a comment. Even if you tell me that you didn't like the video, you're still interacting with the video and you're helping me out. It's the best way you can help all of your creators. If you want to go a step beyond that, you can head over to store.tacreview.com. Pick yourself up some channel merchandise, and that stuff obviously will continue to help our day-to-day operations. And if you really want to go above and beyond, you can head over to Patreon or Subscribestar and help support the channel directly there. Those funds go into things like accessories and ammunition and the things that it takes to keep a gun channel running here on the interwebs. If you haven't been over to the social media accounts, using the username on screen, you can also take a look at the icons and see which platforms we're on. You can go ahead and give us a follow there. It gives us a good way to interact with each other and take the conversation outside of the YouTube platform. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for the support you're showing the channel. And until next time, shoot straight, stay safe.